U.S. President Donald Trump delivered the longest State of the Union address in American history on Tuesday. Trump spoke on a number of issues in his around 1 hour, 48-minute address. He issued fresh warning to Iran, saying he prefers to solve this issue through diplomacy. On the economic front, Trump claimed economic success, saying he had ushered in a golden age of America, while also slamming Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs that struck down his global tariff agenda. Trump also called for the Congress to pass the Save America Act. U.S. President Donald Trump's State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress comes against a backdrop of rising tensions with Iran. During the longest State of the Union address in history, Trump did not mention Iran until well over an hour into his speech. Trump accused Tehran of working to rebuild a nuclear program that was targeted by American strikes last year. Trump said his preference is to solve the problem through diplomacy.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
In his 1 hour and 47-minute speech, Trump also touted his economic record that he had ushered in a golden age.
Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
Trump also slammed the Supreme Court's ruling that struck down his global tariffs. Trump said the Supreme Court ruling makes president's ability on tariffs more powerful.
And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made.
President Donald Trump also urged the Congress to back what he described common sense legislation requiring voters to have proof of U.S. citizenship in the November midterm elections. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democrats' response to President Donald Trump's State of the Union address, slamming the U.S. president's policies.
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse.
During his State of the Union address, Trump also welcomed the U.S. men's ice hockey team following their Olympic gold medal victory. The United States ended a nearly half-century wait for Olympic men's ice hockey gold with a 2-1 overtime victory against Canada in a thrilling final on Sunday. Trump declared the team's goaltender, Connor Hellebuyck, would receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Bureau Report, DD India. And we have with us Ambassador S.R. Tayal, former senior Indian diplomat, joining us from New Delhi. Welcome, sir, to the program. First of all, tell us about the significance of the U.S. President's address in general. What makes this annual event so important?
The annual event, this State of the Union message is very important because it is 1 year after his re-election as the US President. And it is kind of a report card that what under his presidency in the last 12 months has been achieved. And his core message was to his supporters, his advocates of MAGA, Make America Great Again. And there was a link to the 3-4 promises which he had made as a presidential candidate, and on the basis of which he actually won the election in 2024 with the majority of voters also. And those promises were around trade, that there is so much of trade imbalance and other countries are ripping off America. Number 2 was on immigration, that there is unrestricted, unchecked illegal immigration into the United States. Then that America is unnecessarily involved in foreign wars and is financing wars like Ukraine, etc. and to bring back manufacturing in United States. So on all four counts, he kind of gave a report card. And the core thing was that golden age of America, that American economy is doing very well. And all indicators are that American economy is growing fairly decently. And because of tariffs of last year, there was a lot of apprehension that the inflation in the United States would rise. But that has not really happened. When President Trump took over, the inflation was at about 3%, and now it is at about 2.4%. So he can claim that as a success.
And what
of
about
course,
employment?
employment figures are also quite all right. They have not been, that has been improving. Not a dramatic improvement because manufacturing, etc., to come back to a country takes time. So perhaps the trajectory is there, and he has also strong-armed countries like Japan and Korea and Saudi Arabia to invest billions of dollars. That Japan will invest $550 billion in the next 5 years or 4 years. In United States, Korea $250 million, and Saudi Arabia almost $1 trillion US. All these projects take time, but these promises are there. And so his base should be happy. And then, since the stock market is rising, but the wages are not rising, so he had a couple of new schemes which he has announced in his State of the Union address. One is they have a 401k program where all the employees who are employed in a regular job, they put part of their salary in some kind of a pension scheme, which is linked to their stock market, somewhat like our new pension scheme. But people who are not in a regular employment, they are not beneficiaries of this 401k. So he has started a new scheme for not regularly employed Americans, that they can also become part of such a scheme, like our Public Provident Fund scheme, PPF, which is different from PF, which is for regular employees. And the government of US will pay up to $1,000 per year in that fund for every individual. So that is a big sop to his followers, who are sort of middle America, farmers, workers, and also another scheme where he has said that houses, if you have an individual house, that the corporations will not be able to buy that house. Because what is happening is that people's housing is becoming very unaffordable, because the corporations and big companies make only very houses for the rich people. And which we see in our country also, all these big DLF and all that, they will make houses only for the rich people. So he is coming with
So
this
the
new
aim
scheme
is that this money that is being poured in through these schemes would actually be invested in the stock market, right?
stock market.
Yes.
And for affordable housing also, he is trying to do some fundamental changes.
Fair enough.
So it's really trying to mollify and to his base and ensure them that he is on the right track
Okay.
to make America great again.
Okay. Among the key issues, other issues which President Trump spoke were of Iran and how he would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Your comments on that assertion, sir?
Actually, on foreign policy, he did not speak very much. But Iran, he did mention in detail. And basically, these 2 points that he still prefer diplomacy to any kind of a direct action. And the bottom line, that under his presidency, he will never allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons. Now, acquisition of nuclear weapons is a very distant goal. The real issue at present is whether Iran will be allowed to have enrichment, uranium enrichment facilities. And on that, discussions are going on between United States and Iran indirectly through Oman. and President Trump already has deployed 2 aircraft carrier groups in near Iran to pressurize Iran. So a lot will depend on the outcome of those talks.
Okay. Okay. The Democrats have sharply criticized President Trump's State of the Union address as divisive, detached from American struggles, but the Republicans have praised what they called a record of delivered promises. Your comments on those very divergent evaluations?
Democrats have a point because the ICE, their immigration and that customs service, they had all kinds of, in Minnesota and different places, they were capturing people from the streets and checking their citizenship status, visa status. So there is a element of fear in many sections of the American society that which way it is headed. And Democrats have criticized this policy of the federal government to interfere in the working of the states. So the federal system of the government is somehow being weakened. And on tariffs, President Trump attacked the Supreme Court also, which is very something which we in India will think is a very, very wrong thing to do. Anyway, but Democrats have their criticism, which is fair. And both parties are getting more and more polarized. Unfortunately, that is the reality in the United States of America, that the middle ground is shrinking and the society is getting more polarized. And but maybe this is a temporary phase, and gradually it will become a more robust democracy, as it always is. And President Trump always sort of strays from his written speech, and this is what he did here
Yes.
also.
Yes.
And this is a board
But
of
mostly
peace.
stick to the script in terms of agendas and topics. Yes, of course. What is, he doesn't want to lose control of Congress in the November midterm election. So we could sum it up by saying that it was an emphatic, long speech. Thank you very much, Ambassador S.R. Theal, for joining us on the show.
Thank you.